This Hogwarts legacy thing is an absolute trip, but there's so many lessons to be learned. This is actively a thought experiment. You've heard enough people talk about how stupid this whole ordeal is, and make no mistake, it's stupid. But there's a different angle that I want to take. For full transparency, this is not a game that I'm personally interested in. I was maybe mildly intrigued when there were rumors of it being an online RPG, but you may remember the story of the lead designer of this game resigning shortly after this hate campaign that was led by Shield Games urinalists. They discovered he subscribed to some non-leftist figures on YouTube, and they ran this kind of hate article. Of course, the mob pretended to be offended and he resigned. The game designer seems to be doing well for himself and he's still rooting for the game, but that certainly was enough for me to be out. I mention this because I'm not coming from the perspective of someone that's supporting this out of spite. They ain't getting my money. For those that have been out of the loop, this all stems from J.K. Rowling having some rather mild positions on transgendered folk. They label her as transphobic, but coming from raging leftists, that doesn't really mean much. She is a raging leftist herself, and the folks pretending to be distraught more than likely align with her on every single other political or social view. She simply acknowledges the differences between transgendered folk and all natural women, and that in itself is enough for them. And because she's the creator of this Harry Potter thing and is still getting kickbacks on that's the kind of money that I want, they have opted to make playing this video game some sort of litmus test. If you support it, buy it, or stream it, you're not standing in solidarity with trans people. They're all taking notes on who would dare stream this so they can be sure everybody knows you're not an ally. And that's the part I want to focus on. This is the atmosphere and culture that people in these industries have facilitated. People that review this game feel as if they have to make some sort of disclaimer that they stand against J.K. Rowling and her supposed transphobia. Others are coming up with these long, drawn-out statements signaling that they won't be streaming it as if it's some call to action. Streamers that try to they've been getting blasted and being shunned by even members of their own audience if they dare to play it, some even crying. This is what happens when you weaponize victimhood. This is what happens when you let the social justice left become the enemy you feared. This is what happens when you coddle these groups, perpetuating the idea that anything short of jiggling and gyrating with these weirdos at a parade somehow means you hate or are scared of them. This is what happens when y'all opted to virtue signal or suppress your true motivations just because you didn't want to deal with the problems or pushback. This is what was cultivated. Now, this approach has infected entire entertainment industries, and Hogwarts Legacy is just the latest example of that. You now have tons of friendly fire all over a damn video game. The social justice left is pimping these fools, and they've been going along with it because it's only cool to be in opposition to the right-wingers. That's safe. That's in style. But look what it got you. It's only going to get worse from here. You've heard me talk about this before. You wonder why all of these streamers and content creators find themselves needing to take all these long breaks. They supposedly love this so much. They're streaming like 2 hours a day, but they have to do it in spurts. You know why? Because putting up a facade is mentally exhausting. Waking up every day and being who you're not is exhausting. Of course, not all of these streamers agree with everything coming from the social justice left, even if they're leftists, so they either support it in convenience or they try to stay away from talking about it. Now you've got an audience full of people that think you're one of them. And the minute you do something out of order, they're going to eat you alive. That's what the modern Western entertainment is. A bunch of people holding ideological guns to each other, waiting to cancel each other, and it's a miserable existence. The social justice left is a raggedy ass group that's full of a bunch of screechers and people with fundamental mental issues. They should be opposed, laughed at, mocked, and shamed when they do this weird stuff. Only then will it stop. If you're going to be too chicken shit to do so, expect the consequences, often coming from your own audience. They're all in on it. The Access Shield media, the corporate entities and their stupid diversity departments, and all of their talking heads who don't even actually know what the hell they're talking about. There's an improved set of talking points and they malfunction in the event that they have to deviate from the script. If I play this game, nothing happens to me. If people that have been authentic with their audience plays it, nothing happens to them. But if you play it or stream it, you feel the need to have to make these apologies or make it known that you are against transphobia. You're fucking losers, man, but this is what you wanted. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.